Yeah, I guess this story really started at the top of a mountain on a cold, wet, early evening when I met Matt Parfitt.
We all know that homelessness is not just houselessness. It's not a case of housing someone and all their problems are solved. Green Pastures approached us, Grace Enterprises, back in 2021 to see if we could work together and using our experience of employing people with major barriers to work and their experience of housing people, and maybe together we'd be able to offer a more holistic package.
Green Pastures came alongside Matt and said, listen, Matt, we're going to help you, with what would you need? And Matt said, well, I need somebody else with a business background and who has a passion and a faith to help people.
We didn't know what it was going to be. We knew it had to employ people who've been residents or been homeless, who've suffered from major barriers to work, but we didn't know what the business would be. So we knew we needed someone. We put out a job description. I posted it on the way to Scotland, and we wanted to see who would God bring along.
Well, Matt will tell you that he was writing the application on the way up to Scotland, and less than 24 hours later, I think we met. I really felt as though I wanted to speak to God. I wanted to have a conversation with him because I'd had a pretty rough couple of years before that. Whenever I feel like that, I always want to get out into the mountains. I went along to Scotland to spend 72 hours with some Christian brothers, and Matt came to the side of me and said, I've got something that you might want. And I said, all I want at this moment, Matt, is to get off this mountain. And he went, no, there's something I need to tell you. I think there's something that you need to do. I didn't really want a job. I had my own business, but I went away and had a think about it, and it seemed the right thing to do.
We needed to come up with a business that was going to be sustainable financially, but also create lots of employment and the right type of employment for people who've been out of work for a while.
And at the beginning, we didn't know what it was going to be. It could have been anything, could have been cleaning windows, whatever you like. And we finally came up with the idea of making biscuits.
So there's a gap in the market. So financially, there are lots of social coffees and lots of social teas, all doing great stuff. But we noticed there was a gap for a biscuit. Doing something to go in that space seemed to make sense. It also created the right type of work. It's simple, and with Stu's background in catering and baking, it seemed like a great idea to start because it was something that could be scaled, and also crucially, it's something that could be replicated.
I mean, it's set off like an absolute rocket. It's been unbelievable. I mean, we started with our first bakery here at Grace Church with a couple of employees, and now we're up to about 10 employees, and the orders have come in and people have really got this, what it's all about.
It's called Half the Story because our biscuits, great tasting as they are really only half the story. The reason behind what we do, the other half of the story, is about the people we employ to bake those biscuits.
I mean, I've been in business a long time. I've run my own businesses for many years. I've worked for big corporations. And I always believe that, obviously, the great balance sheet would be that you have great assets at the end of the year and you have minimum liabilities. We want to really turn that on its head. You made £1 profit, but you've employed 100 people. For us, that is a positive balance sheet. And it's completely opposite way of thinking that business says.
It's been a joy to start this business, and from the very beginning, people have just caught the vision. It really is not about the biscuit, but people have been wanting to buy a lot of biscuits. People get the social impact, the social value, they see stories of lives changed. And I think as things scale and grow, then we'll see our biscuits all over the place, whether that's in coffee shops or hotels, trains, planes, conference centres. It really does make sense for people who want a biscuit that's handmade, that actually is impacting lives and is a sustainable way of changing lives of people who've faced all kinds of barriers to work.